Burnham, in his plan, amongst other things, called for 10 acres of parkland per 1,000 residents. And this is a report from the Trust for Public Land that shows Chicago is number 10 in the top 12 cities, so we're near the bottom in parkland per 1,000 residents. And you can see here, Chicago weighs in with a measly 3.4 acres per 1,000 residents. Burnham, in his plan, remember, called for 10. So we're not even halfway there. So instead of destroying parkland for private gain, we need to be adding parkland to come up, to try to approach what Mr. Burnham and his colleagues called for over 100 years ago.
And I think what was so revolutionary about the Burnham Plan of 1909, of which we're celebrating the 100th anniversary, is that Burnham was really a visionary when it came to his attitudes about the working man. And you know, one of the reasons we have all these gorgeous parks in Chicago is because he really felt that the lakefront belonged to the people, and that working people should have a place of respite on a Sunday. They should be able to have a beautiful, bucolic place to come and picnic and spend time with their families.
Well, we wouldn't be standing here if he didn't live. This would be a railroad yard.
I walk through this park every day on the way home from work. And it's a great people-watching place, especially college students such as yourself are out here filming. Also, I think it's great for the neighborhood. I live like 2 blocks over there. So it's nice to have open green spaces to be able to recreate in.
We're really discovering increasingly how strong his influence is on the people of Chicago and their attitude. So the Burnham in many ways captured and defined and promoted the DNA of Chicago, this sort of big plans, bold vision kind of sensibility, which is kind of unique to the place. Burnham transformed downtown and transformed the lakefront. Well, I think the Olympics are a great irony, and because Chicago's proposal for the Olympic Games is, its great value is that it's concentrated near downtown on land that didn't exist when Burnham made the plan. And so the land that they want to put the Olympics on is Burnham land. So there would be no Olympic bid if Burnham had not succeeded with the plan of Chicago.
A lot of questions that are not being answered. We have a lot of concerns that are not being allayed. And so we're on a campaign to really start raising awareness.
That by hosting the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games, we have an historic opportunity, just like other cities in the past had the same opportunity. From the global attention we receive, the economic growth we'll experience, the investments we will make in our neighborhoods, our city could be transformed. Also, I want to make it clear to every person in Chicago that we would not have pursued the Games unless Chicago stood to greatly benefit from hosting the Games.
Our concern is twofold. One is, what is the impact going to be leading up to and during the Olympics with regards to just the general use? I mean, our park users going to be displaced, and from all the research and literature that we've seen, the answer is yes. The greater issue that we have is, what's the impact of the park going to be when the Olympics is over?
So we're talking about $900 million worth of construction in our public parks, and then we're going to tear it down. That makes no sense.
The city touts it as an 80,000 seat temporary stadium, yet there's no such thing as temporary when you're talking about things like foundations and concrete.
The end result is a giant hole of debt for the city.
We have created the 2016 Fund for Chicago Neighborhoods. Its goal is to make the Games more accessible, sustainability, and history, particularly for the neighborhoods most affected by them. The Chicago 2016 continues to work with all city agencies, community organizations, elected officials to provide training that will prepare the workers and businesses for job opportunities, vendor participation associated with preparing for and hosting the games as well. Almost all the game venues are in public parks, will be existing facilities or temporary in nature, so that construction times, impact on the environment will be minimized and the costs will be contained.
When we ask those questions at these public meetings, what are the benefits? What are the ultimate benefits of this? The Olympic Committee is vague. They can't really point to anything. They talk about jobs. Oh, well, there'll be increased jobs. Well, what jobs? And who's going to get those jobs? And they're very vague on the construction schedule. And when they say, so this will only be closed off for a year, and then you go back to the bid book and it says, no, it's actually going to be closed off for 4 years, there's a disconnect. There is a lot of misinformation going on out there. And frankly, it's just a lot of spin. And I think what's really ironic about the vision of 100 years ago and what's going on now is that 100 years ago there was a tremendous emphasis to acquire parkland and take swampland and turn it into parkland. Now we have all these wonderful parks, and our real concern with the Daley administration's plan for this Olympics is that not only is he not going to expand parkland, not only is there nothing in the 2016 plan to leave Chicago with a greater amount of parkland when the Olympics are done, his plan is to use the existing historic parks that we already have and possibly ruin them. This is what the mayor wanted. And like many things in this city, it was just presented to the city of Chicago like a done deal. There was no referendum. In any other city, there would be a referendum on the ballot. Do you want the Olympics? Do you want to spend $600 million remodeling Soldier Field? That doesn't happen in Chicago. It's basically you open the newspaper one day and all of a sudden, guess what? We're in line for the Olympics.
Call that a fifth floor deal. Call that something that the mayor wanted.
Mayor Daley and Lori Healy, who's the president of the Chicago 2016 committee and used to be the mayor's chief of staff and the head of the Department of Planning, I think part of their view is to use the infrastructure that is built as a strategic tool for improving the quality of life in the city.
Aquatic Center, amphitheater for sporting and cultural events in Washington Park. A multi-sport facility, 50-meter recreational and competition swimming pools in Douglas Park. A brand new field hockey in Jackson Park. New recreation spaces at Northerly Island. With your youth sailing center, rowing course, kayaking, paddling course, outdoor sports and environmental center, new tennis courts in Lincoln Park. The Olympic Village, which will be developed on the site of the closed Michael Reese Hospital, will become a mixed-income housing and retail community for Chicago residents. And the city plans to develop the land regardless of whether it wins the right to host the games.
The Olympics are gone, and there's a stadium here that nobody's going to use, or there's 6 empty swimming pools that are sitting rotting. It's the people who are going to be responsible for that. It's the park district who can't even afford to maintain the buildings and the services that they already have.
You hear these terms, well, this is going to make Chicago a world-class city. Well, we are a world-class city. If you want to make it a super-duper world-class city, I would pose this to the mayor and all the people who are pushing the Olympics. How about this? How about let's having all of our kids read at or above grade level by 2016. Now that's an Olympic goal I would get behind and put my tax money before, no problem.